Thank everyone in advance for coming out to join us. My name is Victor McCree. I'm the Regional Administrator for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's Region 2 office based in Atlanta. We're responsible for the safety oversight of all the commercial nuclear power reactors in the Southeast, among several other responsibilities. This afternoon's public meeting is a little bit different. It actually has two main purposes. One is to present publicly the results of the NRC's annual assessment of the performance of the three units at Browns Ferry. It's part of our normal oversight process, reactor oversight process. We decided to schedule this meeting in conjunction with a public exit meeting for what we call a supplemental inspection 95003, which, as many of you probably know, based on the fact that you're here, is because of a red finding that was identified at Browns Ferry Unit 1 because of an event they experienced back in the fall of 2009. That inspection has been completed, and this public exit meeting that will follow our annual assessment is part of that process. Just a brief overview of the agenda. First of all, I hope the people on the phone can hear me. Joining me at the table today for the NRC are Mr. Craig Kontz. Craig is the acting branch chief for the Browns Ferry unit, Browns Ferry site, that is. He will present the results of the NRC's annual assessment. Following Craig's remarks, I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Swafford, who may have some remarks in response to our annual assessment, at which point we'll take a break of about 10 minutes. I'll advise you when we're at that point, and we'll again take a break and come back, and then we'll begin the second portion, which is the results of the 95003 supplemental inspection. Mr. Gene Guthrie led that inspection, and he'll present those results. After which we'll take another short break, and then we'll return and we'll have a combined question and answer session for the members of the public who may have questions at that time. And we'll ask the representatives from Preston, if you want to introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Victor. I'm Preston Swafford. I'm the Chief Nuclear Officer with TVA here today. And to my left is Keith Polson. He's the Site Vice President here at Browns Ferry. And then to his left is Jim Morris. He's my Senior Vice President of Operations for the TVA Nuclear Fleet.
Thanks, Preston. So at this point, again, we will start the first portion of the meeting, which is a presentation of the results of our annual assessment of the units at Browns Ferry. This portion of the meeting.
Okay. Today's meeting will have two primary purposes. The first is to discuss Browns Ferry's performance for calendar year 2012. The second is to address the performance issues identified during the annual assessment. Overall safety mission, the NRC has two goals in its strategic plan. The first is safety, to ensure adequate protection of the public, health and safety, and the environment. And the second is security, to ensure adequate protection in the secure use and management of radioactive materials. In administering the reactor oversight process, the framework as designated here is anchored in the NRC's mission to ensure public health and safety in the operation of commercial nuclear power plants. The regulatory framework for the reactor oversight consists of three key strategic performance areas. Those are reactor safety, radiation safety, and safeguards. Within these strategic performance areas are cornerstones that reflect essential safety aspects of facility operation. Satisfactory licensee performance in the cornerstone provides reasonable assurance of the safe facility operation and that the NRC's safety mission is being accomplished. Reactor oversight process also monitors three cross-cutting areas, so named because they can affect each of the cornerstones across all three key strategic performance areas. Those are human performance, safety-conscious work environment, and problem identification and resolution. Each safety cornerstone contains inspection procedures and performance indicators to ensure that the cornerstone objectives are being met. They're closely focused on plant activities having the greatest impact on safety and overall risk. While performance indicators provide insights into plant performance for selected areas, the NRC's inspection program provides greater depth and breadth of information for consideration by the NRC in assessing plant performance. When determining significance thresholds, both PIs and inspection findings are measured against criteria using a color-coded system to indicate safety significance. As indicated on the slide here, starting with a green and escalating to a red. Green findings of PIs are of very low safety significance or performance indicators where the associated cornerstone objectives are being met and can be assessed or escalated all up to red significance are findings of very high significance or performance indicators which signal a significant reduction in safety margin. During the assessment of findings and performance indicators, the NRC action matrix applies a graded approach to regulation. As the number and significance of inspection findings and performance indicator inputs into the action matrix, there is an increase, so does the regulatory response. From January 1st to December 31st, 2012, inspection activities for Brown Ferry's 3 units included over 8,500 hours of inspection and related activities. The resident inspectors, which are on site daily, provide daily plant inspection for the site. There were 12 regional inspections during the calendar year, including security, emergency preparedness, health physics, operator licensing, and in-service inspection. There was 1 major team inspection for problem identification and resolution, and 6 supplemental or infrequently performed inspections. 3 of these were supplemental inspections, 1 license renewal, a seismic walkdown, and an alternate dispute resolution follow-up inspection. Units 1, 2, and 3. The NRC assessed that TVA operated the plants safely and in a manner that preserved the public health and safety and protected the environment. Unit 1 was assessed in the multiple/repetitive degraded cornerstone column due to a red finding in the mitigating systems cornerstone associated with the previously mentioned failure of low pressure coolant injection. Unit 2 was assessed in the degraded cornerstone column of the action matrix, effective in the 4th quarter of 2012. This was due to a white performance indicator in the mitigating system cornerstone for emergency AC power systems, and for a white finding in the mitigating systems cornerstone for a failure to implement procedural requirements, effective the 4th quarter of 2012. Unit 3 was assessed in the regulatory response column of the action matrix, effective in the 2nd quarter of 2012, for a white performance indicator for unplanned scrams for 7,000 hours in the initiating events cornerstone, and for the previously mentioned white finding in the mitigating systems cornerstone. During the assessment of the Browns Ferry performance, the NRC evaluated Browns Ferry for substantive cross-cutting issues. The NRC identifies substantive cross-cutting issues to communicate a concern of the licensee's performance in a cross-cutting area and to encourage the licensee to take appropriate actions before more significant performance issues emerge. As of the end of 2012 assessment period, Browns Ferry had 2 long-standing substantive cross-cutting issues open. Both of them were in the area of problem identification and resolution. The first was thorough evaluation of identified problems. The second, appropriate and timely corrective actions. The SCCIs were addressed during TVA's third-party safety culture assessment performed for the supplemental inspection for the red findings. Additionally, the NRC identified a cross-cutting theme in the resources component of the human performance and error prevention cross-cutting area. This was due to 6 green inspection findings during the assessment period, having a documented cross-cutting aspect of complete documentation and component labeling. The NRC determined that an SCCI existed because although TVA identified and implemented a range of actions to address the cross-cutting theme, these actions had not yet proven effective in substantially mitigating the theme, and the NRC had a concern with the scope of effort and the progress TVA had made in addressing the theme. The NRC will perform a follow-up review of TVA's actions to address the SCCI when they've informed us that they're ready for that. A summary of the assessment for 2012, all cornerstones were determined to have been met. The NRC implemented baseline inspections for all 3 Browns Ferry units. In addition to baseline inspections for 2013, the NRC has planned to perform supplemental inspections in response to the performance indicators and violations previously described. That concludes the presentation of the annual assessment results. I'd like to provide TVA with the opportunity for any comments that they have.
Thank you, Craig. TVA, just to start with, concurs with your assessment findings, so there's no issue there. Do want to point out that really since we received the red finding over 2 years ago now, that we've treated all 3 of our units as essentially part of that program to fix our issues through the fundamental problem areas that we developed that was inspected here in the 95003, and we'll end up talking about here in a few minutes. But want to mention that these issues we believe have been bound by the corrective actions underneath our fundamental problem areas, and the actions are in motion with beginning to see the results that we would expect to see in that, and that obviously over the next 6 months to a year, these as well as the majority of the other fundamental problem areas we do expect to have dispositioned and behind us. So we concur with the findings, and we do believe that the activities we have in motion are appropriate to resolve these and keep them from reoccurring, and I'll just leave it at that. So thank you, Craig.